Buonasera, Picciati. I'm Mimo Quartararo. Tonight I'll tell you about Mad Dog Coll, the Irish gangster gunned down in a Manhattan phone booth in 1932. Winter had a way of making Manhattan honest. February, gray and brittle. 23rd Street with that wind that comes down the avenues like a blade. I was moving numbers from a cigar shop on 7th to a back room near the river. Collar up, hands in my coat, eyes everywhere. Word on the street was that Vincent, Mad Dog Coll, had been shaking the trees again, rattling beer men, shaking down dope runners, trying to tax people who already paid someone else. Cane Sciolto, we called him. A loose dog. No family, no flag. Just his own hunger. In our world, that don't last. I first saw him at a fight smoker in the Bronx, nights before, when he drifted in with two lads who wore their hats like they were mad at them. Coll was small, but he filled the room. 5 pale eyes, cold like a busted bottle. He watched the ring without blinking, like the kid getting hit was the weather. He leaned near me at the rail and said, "Tell your paisa I want a taste of the uptown lottery. Only takes care of his. I'll take care of me. That's fair." He said dago in another sentence, the kind you pretend you didn't hear when you got business to finish. I smiled like a doorman and said I'd pass a message. I passed nothing. Back at the bakery on Mulberry, we ate late. Sausage and peppers, slick with oil. Bread still breathing from the oven. My padrino Caruso kept a St. Joseph card under the ashtray and tapped it with 2 fingers when he wanted quiet. He did that and looked at me. "Mimo, you see the Irish cane Sciolto?" I nodded. "Way. He thinks he's a king." The old man poured anisette into our espresso and stirred sugar like it was medicine. "A dog like that, he don't know the hand that feeds from the hand that breaks his neck." He didn't ask me what Coll wanted. He already knew. These things travel faster than cabs. We'd all heard about the kid in the Bronx, the one caught in a spray during a snatch gone sideways. 5 years old, candy in his hand. The papers calling him Mad Dog forever after. We read those headlines, and we didn't look away. In our lines of work, there's a price for everything. But innocent blood is a stain you never wash off. Coll wore it like cologne. That made him an enemy to everyone, not just to whoever he was taxing this week. A couple days later, I'm on 23rd Street, killing time outside a drugstore with a big clock in the window, and a soda jerk who looked like a choir boy. My job that day was easy. Move an envelope. Keep my eyes open. See who talks to who. I catch a familiar gait. The way a man moves when he believes the city belongs to him. Coll comes in light. Smile like a razor. He flicks his coat back, heads for the phone booth by the soda fountain. I go soft into the doorway, lit a cigarette I didn't want. Watched the glass reflection instead of his face. You learn that. Eyes forward, mind behind you. He put a nickel in and started talking loud enough for God to hear. Something about terms, about tell Oni this, or you tell Dutch that. Mixing names like a bartender mixes bad whiskey with soda. He thought he was in charge of the room. That's the last mistake most fellas make. The bell above the door rang twice. Two men in hats that didn't fit. Coats that did. They moved like they knew the corners, like they rehearsed it. One stayed by the front, one drifted near the magazine rack. Me, I turned just enough to see. Just enough to be stoned if asked later. Then the street went quiet, in that way you feel in your teeth. Car slid to the curb, motor like a prayer. The front man held the door open with his shoulder and the other pulled a chopper from under his coat. Chicago typewriter, heavy and ugly like a bad secret. The first burst cracked the glass so fast it looked like the booth turned to ice. Coll's voice cut into a gasp, and then the second burst chopped the air. Soda bottles jumping, the big clock shuddering like a heart. Sugar flew like snow. The choir boy ducked behind the counter and cried for his mother. I took 2 steps closer without thinking, instinct pulling me to the center of heat, stupid or brave depending on who tells it. Coll didn't make it out of the booth. The nickel dropped, and the line kept ringing. He had his hand up like he could push the bullets back with his palm. Blood came fast, dark, then brighter, then nothing. The hitters were gone before the bottles settled. The bell dinging one last time like applause for a show nobody bought tickets to. The car drifted away like a cloud that had somewhere else to rain. I went to the counter and took the boy's hand off his head. Harmonie, Big you. Look at me, I whispered. You see nothing, you hear nothing. You tell the cop you were making a cherry phosphate. He nodded, because that's what people do when a man says it like he means it. I slipped him $1, and he held it like a holy thing. The phone kept ringing from the broken booth. That sound could make a priest swear. Outside, people gathered because people always do. They think death is a parade. I moved a girl away from the glass and said, "Don't look, paisa." Across the street, a friendly face in a dark coupe gave me the smallest nod. Not ours, not really, but friendly enough. That's the thing. When a cane scialto falls, everybody has a cousin in the shadows. They all want to say, it wasn't me. It was all of us in a way. We fed them, and we starved them, and we watched them die. That's business. By night, the tap rooms hummed with false sympathy. Men who'd crossed the street to avoid Coll's eyes raised glasses and said, "To Vincent," like they'd loved them. Oni's place was calm as a church. Dutch's runners didn't miss a beat. Our side, we said nothing. The old man tapped the Saint card, and we ate our stew. Later, in a back room where the paint peeled like old wallpaper, the capo familia spoke 3 sentences that mattered. A man without a family is a man without a funeral. Loyalty is the tax you pay to keep breathing. Remember, he didn't mention college. He didn't have to. People asked me later if I felt bad. For what? For a dog that bit every hand? For a fellow who'd hire killers to shoot a rival in a dance hall? There's a difference between an outlaw and a fool. The outlaw understands lines. The fool pretends there aren't any. Coll lived like every phone number was a promise he could cash. But even a phone line ends in a wall. He hit it that afternoon. In our world, honor ain't about being nice. It's about not reaching into another man's pocket unless you're ready to lose the arm. It's about paying who you pay and keeping your mouth closed when the wind turns. Silence is a language. We speak it a lot. That day, when the sirens finally came and the reporters sharpened their pencils, I finished my cigarette and went to complete my errand. Envelopes don't care if a man dies. Clocks don't stop because a wild dog fell. At the wake they found for him, I heard the Irish saying low, the way they do. Sadness and whiskey braided together. Nobody from our tables went. Not out of hatred, out of prudence. Coll's end was a telegram to every kid with a fast gun and a loud mouth. Play solo, die solo.
You want a family? Earn it. You want respect? Close your tab, keep your temper. Don't make mothers cry in candy stores. Sometimes I still hear that phone ring in my head when the city gets quiet. Ringing, ringing, ringing. Like somebody on the other end, waiting for a man who's not coming back to the line. The trail in our game doesn't always come from enemies. It comes from the space between words, from the pause on the line, from the friend who says hold on and never returns. Honor is what keeps you from making that call in the first place. What keeps you under a roof instead of under a sheet. That's what it meant to see a cane sciolto fall in the glass box on 23rd Street. A lesson wrapped in cordite and sugar. A headline that told the truth for once. In this life, you choose your silence and you keep it, or the city chooses it for you.